covering all your local high school football games with highlights and scores. Now, Football Friday, brought to you by Alabama Credit Union.
And good evening, I'm Gary Harris. Welcome into Week 5 of WVUA 23's Football Friday. Football Friday is presented by Alabama Credit Union. Visit alabamacu.com to learn more. Alabama Credit Union, loans for real life. Well, Football Friday is an hour again this season, and we have highlights, or at least we're attempting highlights from 16 high school football games for you this evening, plus our complete Bank First Football Friday high school scoreboard, our Football Friday Band of the Week, our premier service company Outside the Huddle feature, Rodney Orr's recruiting tales, behind enemy lines, around the SEC, and much more. And we are scheduled to begin, as we usually do, with our DCH Game of the Week. But let me tell you this, it's Tuscaloosa Academy at Vernon to take on Lamar County Class 2A Region 5 showdown. TA came in 3-1, unbeaten in the region. They were in Vernon, as I said, to face Lamar County. As you know, that is a more than hour and 15-minute drive, and we are having some problems getting our highlights back from that game. So we are going to try to go to it later. I can tell you, though, that it was Lamar County beating American Christian 52-35, so that we do have the final, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get the highlights before the game is over, but some problems getting those highlights back. But Lamar County gets a huge win. They moved to 5-0, of course, unbeaten in the region. Tuscaloosa Academy was down big at the half. They fought back to cut it to 10, and Lamar County pulls away. So again, that's our game of the week. I understand it. We're going to try to get those highlights for you later on and have more analysis on this game coming up as well. But let's move on with the show. Class 6A Region 4, Paul Bryant at Northridge. And we'll pick you up in the second quarter. No score until Edwin Merriweather sneaks it across for the Stampede. And that would give Bryant a 7-0 lead after Jaguars fumble. The Stampede start from their own one. But Merriweather, he's got an arm. He goes over the top to Zavante Perkins for the big gain. Later in the drive, Merriweather will find Joshua Hines for 6, 99-yard drive. 14-point lead with 51 seconds left in the half. This would be considered an upset. I know this is a rivalry game, but I think most people expected Northridge to get the win. But this Bryant team came to play. Here the pick off quarterback Rowdy Christensen. Braylon Gray with the interception, and he's going to take it to the house. We got ourselves a house call. It's 21-0 Bryant at the half, but that would change in the second half. Northridge would score 21 consecutive to send it into overtime. And let's check out the final. After Northridge storms from behind, Bryant gets the win. What a huge win for the Stampede. Tuscaloosa City rivalry, and Paul Bryant takes down Northridge in overtime. 21-0, then 21-21, but the Stampede pull it out in the OT. What a win for Paul Bryant. 6A Region 4 as we stay in that region. Central at home against McAdory. Central much improved under first-year head coach DeMario Pippin, and this one will be close for a while. Although on 4th and goal, quarterback Jacob Clockton for McAdory gives the Yellow Jackets a 7-0 lead, but Central responds. Marquise Thomas takes the handoff, makes 3 defenders miss, gets the edge, and he's got reservations for 6. He is gone. How about that? It's 7-7. Second quarter now. McAdory on the move. Clopton fakes the handoff. Nice play action to Sean Tolbert for the touchdown, and the Yellow Jackets go up 14-7. Later in the second, Clopton on the quarterback draw calls his own number and strolls into the end zone. That makes it 21-7, and you kind of get the feeling where this one is going tonight. As we check out the final, McAdory picks up a big region win over the Central Falcons. 42-14 is our final score. More 6A Region 4 with Hillcrest tonight at Brookwood, and Hillcrest has been absolutely a juggernaut so far this season. They've been beating the brakes off people. That will continue tonight at Brookwood. First Hillcrest drive of the game. Quarterback Bryson Kimbrough hands it off to Jashawn Land, and he gets it in for the touchdown. Jashawn Land with the score. Brookwood quarterback Jacob Rowell punting. It's also the punter. Traveris Banks, though, is on the other end, and T.J. Banks has got his mind on the end zone, and he is gone. And Hillcrest, I'm telling you what, they are some kind of team, and they do it on the defensive end as well. Jacob Rowell's pass is picked by Jaden Banks. He goes the distance, and Hillcrest tonight moves to 5-0, and they are doing it in style. As we check out the final tonight in region play, 56-6. the Patriots tonight over the Brookwood Panthers. All right, as I like to say, we haven't really even worked up a sweat yet. Still to come tonight, we're going to try to get our Game of the Week on. And we'll also check in on the state's top-ranked Class 7A squad, Powerhouse Thompson High School. But first, the up-and-coming Sepsi Valley Bears look to pull off a monumental upset tonight against the Bibb County Choctaws. Highlights are coming up next on WVUA 23's Football Friday, presented by Alabama Credit Union.
Hi, we're the Northside Cheerleaders, and you're watching Football Friday on WVUA 23.
And welcome back into Football Friday. We love our cheerleaders. We appreciate Pool and Patio Center for bringing them to you every week. Well, Sepsi Valley is a very much improved football team this season, but they would be tested tonight big time. Class 4A Region 3, 4-0 Bibb County in town to take on the Bears. Bibb County coming off that huge win over American Christian Academy last week. Bibb County starts us off. Jordan Leverett finds Matthew Cash. Matthew Cash cashes in the reception. Man, we had a lot of long touchdowns tonight. That's the first points of the game. More Bibb County as they get it into the end zone there. And then Sepsi trying to make something happen. LJ Cormier, though, is picked off here, but the Bears keep coming. And there is a touchdown as Sepsi Valley hung tough. They battled, but the Choctaws just a little too much. But there the Bears forced the fumble. And they just kept playing hard tonight. Here's Choctaw County going over the top for a big first down. Let's go to the scoreboard here and check out the final. It's Bibb County winning the game, but Sepsi Valley battled the entire way. The Bears are doing something with their program. They're getting it going in the right direction. Bibb County remains unbeaten on the season. More Class 4A Region 3. We mentioned American Christian Academy losing last week in that showdown against Bibb. Tonight they were at Hale County down in Moundville. And here come the Patriots. Quarterback Kai Young drops it in the basket to Bubba Lester. Beautiful, right into your living room. 21-yard touchdown. Patriots on top. Hale County looking to respond. Quarterback Antwain Zimmerman rolls out. Shows the speed. Hang on to that football, young man. And gets the first down for the Wildcats. But they were unable to get points. Second quarter now. It's Young, 33 yards. Eric Hines makes the adjustment, pulls it in for the touchdown, and ACA would convert a two-point conversion as well. And the Patriots go on to get the win tonight as we check out the final. 29-6 is our final score this evening from down in Moundville. 2A Region 5, Aliceville at Sulligent tonight. And you love the teams running on the field, all the pageantry of high school football. And right off the bat, a little onside kick attempt. But it's recovered by the kicking team. So Sulligent going to the trick play right off the bat. And then Andrew Lowe, there's nothing tricky about this. This is just what you call handing it up, getting a hat on a hat and busting through the hole. Touchdown for Sulligent, and their fans are loving it. More Sulligent on offense. Charles Long here calls his own number. A little bit of a surprise here that Sulligent's good, but Aliceville is too. It's 21-0. Sulligent on top of the Yellow Jackets. But Aliceville would not go down without being heard from. Taekwon Simon gets the grab, cuts it back inside. Is he going to get it into the end zone? Not quite. He's just short, but that leads to Keanthony Wilder for a touchdown. They got a two-point conversion. Let's check out the final score. Aliceville comes from behind here and gets the win tonight on the road. 29-6 is what my script says. And the highlights seem to indicate otherwise, but Aliceville gets a big road win tonight. 29-6 is the final. Class 1A Region 5 showdown tonight with South Lamar at Pickens County. And do we have those highlights? We do not have the Pickens County highlights. Okay, I was told that we didn't have the Pickens Academy highlights, but we don't have the Pickens County highlights either, so we'll go to the scoreboard and tell you what a ball game tonight. As give it up to South Lamar as they knock off the powerful Tornadoes. That is a really surprising final score there. 21-20. South Lamar gets the victory over Pickens County tonight. And wow, I'm surprised by that one. Not that South Lamar doesn't have a good football team, but Pickens County is one of the best programs and best teams in Class 1A. And for South Lamar to go into reform and get the win, that is a big one. All right, 4A Region 3. Winless Holt hosting Dallas County. It's homecoming for the Holt Ironmen. And I tell you this, they, under first-year head coach Brian Newton, did something special tonight. They won a game. They haven't done a lot of that in recent years, but they got it tonight. Calix Grisby hands off to Tamaris Harris for 6. Holt gets on the board to make it 7-0. Then after they get a stop on defense, Jordan Samuel gets the direct snap and takes it in. 14-0. The Ironmen are feeling it on homecoming. The Hornets, though, come back. Michael G. gets a touchdown. It's 14-6. But Holt would not be stopped tonight. Perry Henley on the bubble screen picks up a first down. And the Holt Ironmen get it done. As we go to the scoreboard tonight, we can tell you Holt gets its first win of the year. And it's reason for celebration. I'm telling you what, Brian Newton, the first-year head coach, he's got this program trending. They get a win tonight over Dallas County. 28-12 is the final. All right, also AISA tonight. Pickens Academy was at home at South Choctaw versus South Choctaw Academy. This is another game where we've had some issues with some technical difficulties. We can't bring you those highlights, but we can show you the final score tonight. And it was Pickens Academy with the win, 25-20 over South Choctaw Academy. Again, our apologies. Sometimes these things happen when you're trying to get 16 games. You can have some issues from time to time, but a big win tonight for the Pirates at home there in Carrollton. Well, still to come this evening on Football Friday, we'll talk Alabama versus Ole Miss. But up next, more high school football highlights, including our DCH Game of the Week. And it's been a slow start for the once-feared Hoover Bucks. Tonight, Hoover looked to get on track against Hewitt-Trussville in Class 7A Region 3. We'll be right back on WVUA 23's Football Friday, presented by Alabama Credit Union.
Cheerleaders, and we love Football Friday on WVUA 23. Go Jags!
And welcome back to Football Friday. All right, we're battling through some technical difficulties tonight, but we're going to soldier on because that's what you do. Just like high school football teams, they get behind in a game. They can't quit. They got to keep playing. We're going to keep on playing for you. All right, we are going to be able to talk to you about and have some video for our DCH Game of the Week. Let's take a look.
Now, the Game of the Week, brought to you by DCH.
Class 2A Region 5, TA 3-1, unbeaten in the region in Vernon to face Lamar County. The Bulldogs came in 4-0, and that's TA in the white uniforms, Vernon or Lamar County. And these are just some random clips, but this was the best that we could do, so we're going to get them on. I'll tell you how the game played out, though. It was 38-21 at the half, Lamar County on top. Now, TA came back in the second half and got this game down to 10 and had the ball and looked like they might be able to get back in this thing. The Knights fought the entire way, but it was, in the end, just too much Lamar County. I mean, this Lamar County squad is for real. They proved it tonight, and they get a huge home win over Tuscaloosa Academy. Let's go ahead and go to the scoreboard, and there you see it. We told you the score earlier. Lamar County remains unbeaten, 52-35. The Bulldogs get it done tonight up in Vernon. Huge, huge win. That is our DCH Game of the Week, and I guarantee you, I know how crazy they are about football up there in Vernon. They are celebrating that one tonight. It's going to be a long bus ride home for TA, but still, that's a good football team here in Tuscaloosa. All right, let's keep it rolling tonight. 7A Region 3, Thompson versus Chelsea. Thompson on their homecoming. Amelia Gray is the homecoming queen, and then, you know, this is, we have to say it, I mean, this is probably the best program in the state, regardless of classification. They're a powerhouse. They become a dynasty. First offensive play, Trent Seaborn finds Price Lewis. Nice grab, 28-yard touchdown. It doesn't get any better for Chelsea. Hornets back to punt. It's blocked. Loose ball's recovered by the Warriors' Angel Jones, and the offense takes over at the Chelsea 5-yard line. That's too easy. A.J. Green around right in. It's 14-0 as Thompson would score early and often. Their first 3 possessions they scored. Now it's 21-0 in the second. Chelsea's Hayden Bauman under heavy pressure, and he throws it up for grabs. That's never recommended. Caleb Harris with the pick and the 20-yard touchdown. That is a pick 6. Thompson scores 5 touchdowns early in the game, and they played with a running clock in this one in the second half after it was lopsided at halftime. It was just one score after another for the Warriors. Let's check out the final, 45-0. Chelsea's, had a couple wins this year, but I'm telling you what, this Thompson team, they are looking for another state championship in Class 7A, and they look every bit the part. Well, Hoover used to be that team that was the dominant program in the state. Not this year. Came in with just one win against Hewitt-Trussville. First quarter, Hoover's Trey Darden picks off Peyton Floyd, though, and the Bucks have an opportunity to take an early lead, but they would stall on offense. And then the second quarter, Floyd punches it in for Hewitt off a long drive to make it 7-0 Huskies. Later in the second, it's Floyd again. The quarterback and also the head coach's son plows over the goal line. It's 14-0. Now 28-0 Huskies in the fourth, and Hoover is going to at least get on the board. They're not going to get shut out. Noah Schubach hits Avery Crawford for the touchdown. Hewitt, though, gets the big region win as Hoover, just one win. That's just shocking to me, but that's the final. The Huskies over the Bucks, 28-12. More 7A Region 3, Spain Park at Vestavia. Former Auburn coach and current Tennessee defensive line coach Rodney Gardner on hand for this one. First possession for the Rebs. John Paul Head, the outstanding quarterback, to Chase Webb in stride for 6, 30-yard score. It's 6-0 Rebels. Now it's 9-0 when Spain Park's Brock Bradley scrambles out, and he is sacked. That's why Rodney Gardner's at the game. UT commit Jordan Ross runs him down. In the second quarter, it's J.P. Head again, finding Cooper Mollison for a 20-yard touchdown. Vestavia goes up 16-0. Jags are driving late in the half. Grayson Bruno lays out Bradley to knock the ball loose as Jacob Watson recovers. And Vestavia Hills takes a 16-0 lead in the locker room, and the Rebels go on tonight to get the victory over Spain Park. Here you see the final, 26-8, the final score over in Vestavia tonight. All right, let's keep it rolling here. 6A Region 6, Oxford at Pinson Valley. Head coach Sam Adams, former Hillcrest head coach. Yellow Jackets ahead 12-6 at the halftime. Second play of the third quarter. It's a big one. Junior tailback Damius Wilson in open space. Nobody's going to catch him. He rumbles 76 yards, and Oxford goes up 19-6 over the Indians. A possession later, the Yellow Jackets are back on the doorstop looking for more. On the doorstep, 3rd and goal from the 6. Quarterback Mason Mims will find an open Nick Richardson in the end zone. Tack on another 6 for the boys from Oxford. 26-26 Yellow Jackets. Pinson Valley desperately trying to get some offense going. Dylan Reese for Asher Hawkins. The ball is out, and Oxford is on the loose ball. Just a nightmare start to the second half for the Indians. 2 plays later, Jaden Thomas, 1 cut and in. The Yellow Jackets explode for 3 scores in the third quarter, take a 33-6 lead on the road, and Oxford goes on to get the win tonight. Big, 40-6 over Pinson Valley. Sam Adams' club is looking good in 2023. Class 4A Region 6, Fultondale at Oneonta. It's homecoming tonight for Oneonta. Early on, the Redskins defense, relentless. Mikhail Montgomery off the edge. The ball is out. Oneonta recovers the strip sack fumble. Skins unable to turn that into points, but the defense will generate their own. Fluff Bothwell makes the tackle in the end zone. That's a safety. Oneonta up 2-0. 5-0 now, Oneonta after a field goal, but that's when Fultondale's offense starts going to work. First play following a good kickoff return. Rodriguez Johnson, he turns on the Jets. He's gone, and that is a touchdown for Fultondale. Crazy quarter of football, but after struggling for much of the first quarter, the Redskins hit a big play on offense. Landon Abernathy to Malika Montgomery, and the senior's not gone. 73-yard pitch and catch. Redskins regain the lead at home. And as we check out the final, it's Oneonta tonight in a heck of a football game, outlasting Fultondale by the final score of 37-8. Class 5A Region 5, this was Thursday evening. Jasper at Winona. Jasper looking to make it get their first win. Winona looking to move to 4-1 over the winless team for Jasper, and the Dragons would get it going in this one early. Dominique Bruce gets the touchdown to make it 7-0. Vikings a 3-and-out, and then it's Bruce again. 36-yard house call right here. 13-0 after a missed extra point. And Winona would never let up. A little over 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. And the hat trick for the senior. Yet again, this time it's around right in for 60 yards. His third score of the quarter, 19-0 Dragons. Second quarter, Anthony Trey Young is going to make a takeoff and scramble 33 yards into the end zone. It's 26-0 Dragons. That would be the halftime score. And on Thursday night, Winona goes on to win easily over the Jasper Vikings. 33-0 is the final. All right, that's going to do it for our high school highlights. But if you haven't seen your favorite teams score yet, you don't have to worry, because up next, our complete Bank First Football Friday scoreboard. That's straight ahead when we return to West Alabama's High School Highlights Show on WVUA 23. That was the Hueytown High School Marching Band. They're our Band of the Week. Welcome back to Football Friday here on WVUA 23. All right, it's time now to check in on some other football scores tonight on another Football Friday. Let's get to the Bank First scoreboard. Bank First, putting customers first. All right, let's run through them for you. It was County High tonight. Wow, what a big win for the Wildcats. On the road at Oak Mountain, that is a region victory in 7A Region 3. That is huge. Earlier this week, they got good news when they learned that their game that was forfeited against Bessemer City would be reinstated. And then they get another win tonight, and this was a big one in the region, 24-23. How about those Wildcats? Gordo tonight goes to Tarrant. No problem for the Green Wave. They take care of business, 48-20 the final score in that one. It was Haleyville holding on against Northside at home. The Rams come up just short, 20-17. Lynn took down Holy Spirit out of Tuscaloosa. The Saints fall 47-0 on the road. Marion County wins at Berry Fayette 54-27, and Prattville Christian shuts out Greensboro 34-0. It was West Blockton, a big road win at Montevallo 10-7. Last we had Jackson Academy leading Southern Academy down in Greensboro in the fourth quarter. 20-8 was the last score that we had in that game, but it was only about 4 minutes to go. It was Alabama Christian over Sumter Central tonight, 49-18. Cornerstone Rainsville beat Tuscaloosa Christian 41-21 in 8-man football. And also in 8-man football was Cornerstone Columbiana beating North River Christian in the Alabama Christian Association 8-man league 46-12. Helena tonight goes on the road to Pelham, gets a big win. The Huskies take down the Panthers 35-14. It was Chilton County all over Calera tonight, 37-3. Cordova topped Hamilton 28-21. Corner wins at Dora 21-14. Oak Grove blitzes Curry 62-0 on the road. Shades Valley does the same to Huffman, 44-0. Clay Chalkville wins at Center Point, 39-14. Moody over Lincoln, 28-3. J.B. Pennington gets the win, 56-3. It was homecoming at J.B. Pennington, and congratulations to the homecoming queen tonight there at Pennington. And I'm trying to pull it up right here. It was Jasmine Potts, the homecoming queen. Chickasaw, way too much for Francis Marion, 66-0. Winston County over Greene County, 43-16. Winfield beats Midfield 44-18. It was Hackleburg over Hubbardsville 32-21. And also not on your board, but Hueytown blanks Bessemer City tonight 47-0 the final score. All right, that's a wrap for the scoreboard, but more high school football is on the way. When we return, Bama Central's Joe Gaither, our high school analyst, will join me for high school football analysis, including an in-depth look at our game of the week. That Class 2A Region 5 showdown is 3-1 Tuscaloosa Academy made the 1 hour plus drive to Vernon to lock up against unbeaten Lamar County. That's straight ahead on WVUA 23's Football Friday.
Hi, we're the Curry High School cheerleaders, and you're watching Football Friday on WVUA 23. Woo! Good job, kids! Come on, big sleeves! Good THO!
And welcome back to Football Friday, presented by Alabama Credit Union. I'm Gary Harris, bringing in reinforcements. My main man, Joe Gaither from Bama Central, our high school analyst, in to analyze our DCH game of the week, Class 2A Region 5. Tuscaloosa Academy at Lamar County, both teams unbeaten in region play. TA 3-1 overall, Lamar County 4-0. This video, as I said, we had some issues tonight, but at least we got some clips on. It's kind of random video, but still, what an opportunity for TA tonight on the road. But this Lamar County squad is for real.
Absolutely. They win the game. They win up by 17 points. Jordan Gotze had 4 rushing touchdowns in the game, 5 for the entire game. Preston Lancaster did all he could for TA for the Knights. He is a heck of a player. I think just still a junior, so he's still going to have some time to develop. 4 touchdowns for Lancaster, but Lamar County just too much for the Knights.
Yeah, Lamar County here in the dark uniforms, TA in the road white, and you said it. TA is a well-coached football team under Josh Wright, who just recently won his 150th game as a head coach, and they were down big at the half. They got it down to 10 and had the ball in the third quarter, but as good teams do, once TA got close and could kind of sniff it a little bit, Lamar County went ahead and put it away.
Yeah, absolutely. They ended up winning by 17 points. It was able to shut the door on TA. TA now has to focus on finishing out the rest of the region, and they're going to have a matchup with Sulligent that will hopefully see them finish second in their region. Maybe first if Lamar slips up, but TA all eyes on the back half of the region.
Yeah, Lamar County now clearly in the driver's seat to win that region, but TA still in good shape to make the playoffs. All right, you went over to Central again tonight. High hopes for the Falcons under first-year head coach Mario Pippin, who's done a marvelous job. And they were in this game against McAdory for a while, but couldn't hold up in the second half.
A devastating pick six on the last play of the half, put them down by 21 points going into halftime, and that really was the difference in the game. They couldn't come out in the second half and ever close the door.
And your thoughts on Hillcrest? Listen, Brookwood does not have to hang its head and hang their heads in shame, because Hillcrest has done this to everybody.
They're unbelievable. I think they're up in the top 5 of 6A right now in the Riders poll, and they look unstoppable in Region 4 6A.
They do. They went undefeated. They went undefeated in the regular season last year and ran into Saraland. They've got their sights set on winning it all this year, Joe. They're going to be a fun team to watch.
Absolutely.
Thanks as always, buddy.
Thank you.
Find him at BamaCentral.com. Or on the way, the latest on Alabama versus Ole Miss, and we'll return with our award-winning Outside the Huddle feature. Football Friday will continue right after this. Stay with us. I'm Gary Harris, and this is WVUA 23's Football Friday. Welcome back. It's time now for our Outside the Huddle feature presented by Premier Service Company. Premier Service Company, the power to keep you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Tonight, the story of how University of Alabama student trainers are working with area high schools to provide top-flight medical care. Here's Football Friday's Drew Pavon.
In the modern day of sports medicine, athletic trainers are an integral part of any sports team. At the University of Alabama, they're enhancing the next level of athletic trainers.
You get to see things hands-on, you get to see it happen, you get to see how to react quickly, how to be calm in situations.
This fall, on any given Friday night, members of Alabama's professional athletic training program could be at up to 12 West Alabama high schools. While they are still training, the work they do is hands-on. In the heat of the game, athletic trainers have become crucial. They're the first responders when injuries happen.
You're going to get a unique situation regardless of where you go, whether it's here or Central or Bryant or over to Tuscaloosa County High. You're going to get a different situation.
You don't know when people are going to get hurt. It might be in practice, it might be in weights, it might be in the game, so you don't know when they're going to get hurt, so you need to be there to be able to provide the best care.
The students from UA's professional training program could spend up to 35 hours a week at one of these high schools. It's easy to see why it's essential, but it was never more clear as to its importance than it was last January in an NFL game between the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals.
And now another Bills player is down, and that is Damar Hamlin.
He got up, took a couple of steps, and then just fell to the ground. The entire Bills team is out on the field right now. Several players are down on their knees.
Damar Hamlin suffered a cardiac arrest following a hit. His heartbeat was restored on the field thanks to immediate CPR and the use of a defibrillator by the medical personnel that almost certainly saved his life.
What people don't understand is we prepare for stuff like that every day. That's the type of stuff that you prepare for that you hope you never have to use. The AED is the first thing I put, with my stuff to go out with me.
I think a lot of people just get stuck in, oh, they're water girls or they're water boys or they do taping and racing, but it's so much more than that.
As vital as it is, the Alabama Professional Athletic Training Program will not be able to serve in the same capacity. Just in terms of numbers, it's at a loss. At the end of this school year, the final bachelor's program from the school will graduate. And beginning next fall, professional athletic training will begin a strictly 2-year master's program. Dr. Elder expects to have 16 students per graduating class, which makes 32 total. That is 22 fewer students than what it has this semester between the bachelor's and master's program.
It's so valuable to us to have those athletic training students come from the university out here to help us.
We have to do a lot of reflection with our preceptors and the faculty on how many students can we really give what they deserve to make sure that they're getting the best experience when they're here.
There's always change in sports, and athletic trainers will be forced to adapt, especially since no one knows what the future holds. But a career in professional athletic training continues to see rapid growth, which should result in more opportunities and support at local high schools statewide and nationwide.
Outstanding work. Thank you, Drew. Coming up, we'll go behind enemy lines with former Ole Miss punter Brett Brewer. He'll discuss what he believes will be the Rebels' path to victory tomorrow against the Tide. And our recruiting tales segment with Tider Insider's Rodney Orr will take us inside the unique recruitment story of running back Josh Jacobs. It was better late than never for Alabama in this one. We'll be back after this.
We're the Chelsea High School cheerleaders, and we love Football Friday on WVUA 23. Go Hornets!
And welcome back to Football Friday. It's time now for Recruiting Tales with Tider Insider's Rodney Orr. Tonight, the unlikely story of how running back Josh Jacobs from McLean High School in Tulsa wound up in Tuscaloosa, Alabama instead of Norman, Oklahoma.
I started following recruiting, like I said, in the mid-'70s. I've never really heard a story like Josh Jacobs as it relates to Alabama football recruiting. I mean, we're 3 weeks from signing day. Alabama's closing out another top-rated class under Nick Saban. They've got all these top recruits. They're recruiting a kid out of Texas that was a fantastic running back named Devon Penniman, and I thought that was the guy everyone was kind of focusing on, perhaps, that would end up at Alabama. And then all of a sudden, I get a phone call from someone and said, hey, listen, there's a kid in Tulsa, Oklahoma that really wants to get himself in front of the Alabama coaches. And I'm like, this guy's a senior? He said, yeah, he's overlooked. He ran for 2,700 yards this past season as a quarterback. He averaged 19 yards a carry. He said, you got to look at his tape. So I look at his tape and I'm like, wow, this guy is really good. But the problem is, you're 3 weeks from signing day. Alabama doesn't even know about him. So what this guy did is he reached out to Burton Burns, the Alabama running backs coach at the time. He reaches out to him on Twitter and sends him the tape of Josh Jacobs. Burton Burns watches the tape and goes to Nick Saban and says, hey, coach, this guy's really good. I need to go to Tulsa and take a look at him. Saban sends Burton Burns to Tulsa. Burton Burns comes back and Saban goes, okay, what's wrong with him? Why isn't anyone recruiting him? Burton Burns said, coach, I don't know. Everybody's missing because this guy's the real deal. A week or two later, Josh Jacobs, right before signing day, takes an official visit to Alabama. On signing day, he signs with Alabama, and now he's what? Josh Jacobs is the leading rusher in the NFL last season.
Man, I love these recruiting stories from Roddy. Well, the number 13 Crimson Tide back at Bryant Denny Stadium tomorrow to take on number 15 Ole Miss. Drew Pavon is going to join us again as he goes behind enemy lines with former Ole Miss football player Brett Brewer.
The Tide are back at Bryant Denny Stadium tomorrow for the first time since their loss to Texas. But for Alabama tomorrow, when they take on Ole Miss, they are desperately looking for a Tide-changing win at home versus a familiar foe.
It's a big game because there's so much still ahead to play in the SEC. So if you get behind the chains and a loss, especially for Bama having already a home loss, this one is a wounded animal who does not need to lose another ball game and is feeling a lot of heat right now, especially with the quarterback situation, what it's been. But Lane's going to have a great game plan. You know, Pete Golding wants to beat Alabama more than anybody on the schedule. So I expect a well-prepared football team on both sides, to be honest with you.
Brewer says the Rebels will need to rely on the legs of their starting quarterback, Jackson Dart, in order for them to have success against Nick Saban's defense.
They're going to have to run the quarterback, and he's going to have to get the ball out of his hands quickly, don't take sacks. I think they have a lot of confidence in him. And I know he's throwing the ball extremely well. He's a gutty kid. He's always run hard. Again, I just don't want to see him take that many shots. But in some of these games, you almost have to, you have to extend plays and get first downs and keep the chains moving. And they're not afraid to use him in short yardage situations to run football.
With this being such an early marquee SEC matchup for both teams, Brewer says whoever can walk out of Bryant Denny with the W will need to not make so many mental mistakes and rely on their leaders to step up.
I know the motivation from the Ole Miss staff and how much it means to Golding and Kiffin. And again, Alabama has some question marks. The biggest thing I think Alabama has question marks, not so much the talent and the scheme, it's the leadership. Maybe Milroe steps up and is that guy. I don't know. I'm just looking from the outside in, and I'm seeing a team struggle a little bit. And, you're looking for people to emerge. And I just think that right now, if Ole Miss doesn't, do something crazy and turn the ball over a couple times early and let Alabama have some easy scores, I think they're going to have to make them earn it.
All right, coming up, Riley Tice will take you around the SEC and a check on your game day forecast with WVUA 23 Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott. But first, we just saw Alabama looks to get off on the right track in the SEC, but they'll be tested by a highly motivated group of Ole Miss Rebels. We'll have more on the game. Football Friday will return right after these messages.
From a quarterback standpoint, this is all I'm going to say about this. Jalen really showed the leadership that I was looking for, during the game in terms of supporting his teammates and doing the things he needed to do. He's had the opportunity to play, so as the other guys. Jalen played the best of all those guys, and so I think he's earned the opportunity to be the quarterback.
And with that announcement from Nick Saban on Monday, Jalen Milroe back in as Alabama's starting QB after not playing at all against the South Florida Bulls last Saturday in Tampa. Next up for this beleaguered Alabama squad, as we have already mentioned, number 15 Ole Miss tomorrow afternoon at 2:30 p.m. inside Bryant Denny Stadium. The Rebels cruised to a 43-23 win over Georgia Tech in Week 3, covering as a 16.5-point favorite at home. After losing 4 straight games to end the last season, Ole Miss has begun this season with a 3-game win streak and have outscored opponents. There's that video, 158-50. So Ole Miss has been dominant so far. However, Coach Saban understands what the team is up against, and as we're just talking about, he's very impressed by Lane Kiffin's Rebels.
Ole Miss is a really, really good team. Lane has done a great job there with the program. This is one of the best offensive teams in the country in terms of things that they do, multiples that they have, the way their players are coached and how they execute. They're playing better on defense. So, this is a really, really good team. And, we're going to have to play, our best, and we need to improve to be able to do that.
And now for the Ole Miss perspective. It appears that the Rebels have an excellent opportunity to come to Tuscaloosa this weekend and post their first victory over the Crimson Tide since 2015. But Lane Kiffin understands better than most the difficulty of playing Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
We all got our issues, and, this is one of the best teams, the best team in the last 15 years and one of the hardest places to play. Just because Texas went in there one doesn't mean it got any easier. So this is a huge challenge, dynasty, and we have to do a lot of work just to be on the field with those guys. And those are premier recruiting classes of 5-star players everywhere.
2:30 kickoff tomorrow on CBS. And now let's check in on the rest of the conference this weekend as Football Friday's Riley Tice takes us around the SEC.
Alabama made headlines earlier this week when we found out it held a players-only meeting on Sunday, following an uninspiring performance against South Florida. But the Crimson Tide was not the only SEC team looking to get back on track while they still can. Mississippi State also held a players-only meeting a few days after its 41-14 loss to LSU. One of the reasons the Bulldogs are not off to a good start is the passing offense, which used to be the staple and one of the things they were most identified through. Now it ranks at the very bottom of the SEC. After a late-game scuffle against Tennessee, 3 players from the Florida Gators offense will be suspended for the first half of Saturday's game against Charlotte, including former Alabama lineman Damian George. The altercation took place at the end of Florida's 29-16 win. Quarterback Graham Mertz was trying to let the clock run out, but Tennessee's Amari Brown got to him first. George and the Gators' offensive line came to their quarterback's defense, leading to a shoving match and the punishment from the SEC office. Speaking of Tennessee, there is no quarterback controversy. On Tuesday, Vols offensive coordinator Joey Hazel shut down any notion that the team would be in better hands with 5-star freshman Nico Iamaleava. In the loss to the Gators, starter Joe Milton and Tennessee's offense scored just 1 touchdown through the first 3.5 quarters. I think all Alabama fans and the rest of college football agree. Good quarterback play is key. With Around the SEC, I'm Riley Tice.
Thank you, Riley. And what's the weather going to look like on your game day? Here's WVUA 23's Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott with your forecast.
And those local high school football games ramping up across the region. Fantastic weather as those teams travel home. Temperatures will fall quickly in the 60s side. In fact, by tomorrow morning, many of us in the low to mid 60s. And tomorrow for Saturday, great weather for some college football at Bryant and Tuscaloosa. We'll be in the upper 80s, plenty of sun, but the humidity will be low. Let's talk about that football forecast. Alabama taking on Ole Miss at Bryant Stadium. Around lunchtime, 84. That 2:30 kickoff in Tuscaloosa, 88. Mostly sunny skies. Humidity, though, will be low by the end of the game at around 84. Let's talk some Auburn football. Auburn taking on Texas A&M at College Station. The Kyle Field got 11 a.m. kickoff. Now, if you're going to be there earlier in the day, around 9 o'clock, we're at 82. Around 90 by that 11 a.m. kickoff, and 95 ramping up the game over at College Station, Texas. That is your forecast update for college football and your local weather.
Thanks, Richard. Looks terrific. All right, a reminder that tomorrow night after the game, I will be on social media, and I'll also be on WVUA23.com with a game recap. So join me tomorrow night on social media, on Facebook, and also at WVUA23.com. All right, that's going to do it for the program tonight. I'd like to thank all our great sponsors, Alabama Credit Union, DCH, Bank First, Pool and Patio, and Premier Service Company. For everybody here at Football Friday and WVUA23, have a great weekend, and let's see if Bama can get it done tomorrow against the Ole Miss Rebels. Good night.